that dude? Let me see.
That sounds familiar, but I probably read about him somewhere.
He the one that hypnosed the guy to take out Robert Kennedy.
Because
he and look, he the one that actually directed the Manchurian Candidate. Yeah, this nigga. Yeah, why? When I was going through the paper files, I almost fell out the chair. I say, man, look, this right here, I almost fell out the chair.
Out of the names you mentioned, Bob Hope stick out the most because you remember he was a comedian that used to hold the USO entertainment for the troops during Vietnam and Korea War.
Bro,
right. Now remember the guy from the Gong Show. He was using the Gong Show, traveling the Gong Show to different places while he do hits for the CIA.
Yeah, see, they got some stuff like that in the file. I just scanned through. Bob Hope name came up real thick though.
Yeah, Bob Hope. Bob Hope is an anomaly. He's like a meteor in the timeline. He did a lot of shit.
Yeah, from what I gathered is that these guys pretty much control Hollywood. Like you had to go through Bob Hope and this other guy. They were like the background manipulator guys. They call them programmers. That's what they call them, programmers. That's what they call Bob. They got Bob Hope listed as a programmer. And they whatever they MK Ultra program, and this dude Brian Williams, they were like handlers, and they had trigger words for certain people based on what this document was. And they even control all the writers. They even hypnosis all the writers and people that drew all the pictures for Walt Disney, right? And so all this is connected. And come to find out that right before that they built Disneyland and Disney World, the CIA stopped the construction on it so they can come in and build these underground facilities that over there. And
well, you know, the whole family's been coming up missing in Disneyland for years.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding out. Like it's a lot of creepy. It started to get creepy once you go down that railroad.
Okay, so we gotta remember, you got different secret societies that perform different functions. Some secret societies today is actually called 501c3 nonprofits.
That's right.
You got the ADL and the JDL. They work for more Zionist Jews that's darker than me and you, Elder.
Right, blacker than your shirt.
But they use those pale faces to push their agenda as if all of the Jews got pale faces.
Right.
We never look at the ones Noble Drew Ali was bickering with.
Right.
Because we thinking that the Jews that's infiltrating us is the pale face, the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi.
Yeah.
Them Khazarians, it's not them. They the cover story. They the cat's paw.
Yeah.
They the fall guy, the co-seavers, the crash dummy. The dummy they put in the car when they're gonna crash it into the wall to see what happened to it.
Yeah, that's cold, man.
Right, because remember, this goes back to the other question too about the little Nazi group. The whole thing is they want us to be so mad when we come out of the slumber that we go on a rampage of kill Whitey, but we ain't falling for the shenanigans and the banana in the tailpipe no more. They getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And then they chaotic, contrived events. Them people probably did go down there. They probably was allegiance with some Nazi group, but they were sent down there so they could put it in the news.
They got paid.
Right? All of them is paid actors.
Yeah.
And actors don't always mean Hollywood acting. It also mean participant in something.
Right.
Right? And you be wondering, like, if you go back to the George Floyd thing, and they say they're gonna have a march for the shooting of George Floyd. And at 6 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock, I'm watching the news camera. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a whole marching crew of pale faces come bending the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was so obviously freaking staged that it looked like they was filming the movie and we was watching the backdrop of them film the movie.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, so like, and then if you notice, they pulled this Ben Crump thing and all this. And then I was also reading the different type of agents they sent out. And I was like, dang, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton sure could fit as a description that they gave for some of the Manchurian or they mind control agents that they used against us to calm us down. The way they was describing. I'm about to put the tape out about it. Like, I had put the tape out today, but they chopped it up so bad to where it wasn't saying what they were saying no more. So I'm gonna try to do another route. But I had to tape out today where it was breaking down how they sent all these different agents in and used our own people, these to get your hand out of my pocket, people. You know, get your hand out of my pocket.
Them niggas.
Huh?
I said, yeah, them niggas.
Them niggas right there. And them the same niggas that went and told that the shots came out of the bushes when they know it came from the tower, from the fire shot tower, man. Same niggas. Same niggas with no town. They said we moved out the way so they can make the shot. And
you know, out of all of the civil rights activists that got assassinated, the only one that was unequivocally assassinated by a pale face on strictly racist motivations was Medgar Evers.
Okay.
All of the rest of them was either sabotaged by a nigga, set up by a nigga, or murdered by a nigga.
One or the other.
And they telling you the white man the problem. What you missing?
Damn.
Every time one of us figure it out and we get ready to go to Washington and collect our check, one of us murder him or set him up.
Damn. So the person that shot Malcolm, I mean, was it Martin Luther King's son or his wife? Wasn't that a black Jewish guy? And
his mama was sitting in the front pew at church. A Hebrew Israelite dude looked like he batshit crazy, walked into church to the front row and shot Martin's mama in the face.
MK.
Straight up Manchurian candidate.
All day long. Like, I wonder why they think that we can't. Like, that's interesting, man. And then after they went,
they wanted us to know their involvement in the assassination of the King family members. That's why they sent him in there.
Send us a message.
Yeah, that's like when they sent Vito Corleone that bulletproof vest and that fish.
Yeah. Yes, it means,
and everybody standing around talking about what do it mean? What do it mean?
Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes. It's a Sicilian message. I like the
that's what that is. That was the message some niggas telling you. And now we over here, we full-fledged some tribal name that's no longer in the history books and we can't pronounce, calling ourselves some Hebrew Israelites.
When we ain't
you know they not us because their cultural background, the description of their culture is in their religious work. In their religious culture, our religious culture over here on these lands don't allow us to eat babies.
Right.
That's not in our spiritual best interest.
Right.
Over here. In their spiritual interest, it's okay for the rabbi to suck the baby dick, as long as he call it a circumcision.
That's crazy.
That's not part of our culture over here. That's foreign invading influence on our culture.
Yeah, the Canaanites, the Baal worship.
That's all of those ancient gods was before this religious shit. This Judaism, Christianity, and Islam is the problematic spiritual teachings because it brainwashes you instead of liberates you. It traps you in box after box after box. In Islam, you can't even go to work without having to stop midway through your first session and do a salat.
That's
Then
fact.
you got waiting on lunch. You got to stop again, do another salat before you can even go to lunch. That's fucking retarded. That's hostage holding. You holding them hostage.
Yeah, and Jesus said, "Don't do that, though." Jesus, that's the only part about some of the stuff like that. Jesus said that you don't gotta pray but one time. You don't gotta keep telling me. Once you tell me
Look,
one time what you want, get on
one
about
of the coldest verses in the Bible is it say, "These people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, but their hearts are far from me."
Right.
Teaching as commandments the doctrines of men.
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
yep.
Islam got
For
its good
many,
points.
for many
Islam,
will come to me in the last days and say, I cast out devils, heal the sick, and raise the dead, all in your name. And the Lord will say, get thee hence. I know you not, you workers of iniquity and false prophets and idol worshipers. Now, why would the person that you calling on doing all this stuff reject you when they get here?
go ahead.
Remember, you say, these people will come to me in the last days, right?
Lord.
And what they gonna say? I
Lord.
cast out
Yeah.
demons.
Yeah.
I raised the dead. I
In your
healed
name.
the sick. All in your name.
Yeah.
What name they use?
Exactly. That's the next question.
Then that take us to Proverbs 22. A good name is better, more precious than gold and silver.
They also talk about that in another verse in Romans, where they said that it was he was given a name that by that name. So it's all them verses connected.
So the easiest way to lead you astray is to change the name.
Facts.
All you got to do is change the name, and you automatically got everybody who believe in the name following the wrong name
That's a
in the
fact.
name of Jesus when it's supposed to be ISIS. You gonna get
Nice.
rid of the great mother for a little sissy boy playing he got a Bible in his hand, coming out surfing on the cloud, hanging 10, coming around the bend with the Philharmonic Orchestra on the bigger cloud behind him, coming to rescue you for the rapture, you up to heaven with his father.
I heard that perspective too, because I
That's
heard
the
that.
that's the most ridiculous and absurd shit a person can tell you to insult your intelligence.
Yeah. 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 I
If
heard
this
that.
motherfucker comes surfing out the clouds like he a goddamn a hippie surfer with this stringy beard slinging behind him in the wind and a Philharmonic Orchestra following behind him,
Yeah.
I quit.
Yes, it's a lot of that stuff. See that they took a lot of that stuff. Yeah, they took a lot of that stuff from the sun worship and put it into Constantine them and tied it into the real, the real storyline. Not so like a lot of that stuff is a tribute to the sun, like the sun in the sky. It's not even a tribute
Mm-hmm.
to a prophet, a person. You know, so it's like so the story is like when you say, oh yeah, well, dude come out the clouds, you talking about the sun, the sun. You ain't talking about no physical being. You talking about somebody walking on the water. You talking about the sun coming over the water on the Nile when they, it's all it's a whole bunch
I
of
don't
it's.
look at it. I don't know what them folks talking about. But you got somebody in look, you got somebody in the chat trying to tell me the Hebrew name of somebody who was named in Greek.
Yeah, we talking about Yahshua.
They
What you
trying
said?
to tell me the Hebrew name of somebody who's named in Greek.
Yeah, Isus is how they said it became Isus, then Jesus, then Jesus once the monks added the J to it. So at first it was I see what you're saying ISIS because it really was Isus I can see how they could have got ISIS from there. Then you got
But
Esau.
that ain't even proper pronunciation using the characters of the Greek and the rules of grammar.
Could be. But it's I know in
The
Arabic.
literal proper pronunciation using the rules of grammar is it's IES OUS. So the capital I silences the E. The S silences the O, makes the UH sound as the U crashes into the S for to carry it out with the H sound.
ISIS.
It's ISIS all day long. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but you can't tell me that I don't know the rules of grammar.
Oh, no, I ain't. No, you know me. I
I ain't
don't say
talking about
nobody
you.
wrong.
I'm talking about them
Yeah,
religious folks.
yeah, I don't say
Now,
nobody wrong. I just take in perspectives.
when they realize that they gonna find out that that was a 21 part play written by Josephus Flavius in the
Right,
time when they didn't have television.
that's right.
They didn't. All they had was coliseums and plays.
That's right.
And the 21 part play was supposed to be a 21 different people looking at the so-called chosen one and telling their story about when she come.
Right.
We come around the mountain when she come. When
She
she
comes
come.
around the mountain where she comes. You might just shave people's head bald right there. They probably don't even know it after that part. Should be coming around the mountain when she. They always get us. Yes, another thing, Roy. Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that, man, about the jingles, the different jingles. Now they said that Bob Hope and them and all these other guys, they hired Pacific people that was like Druid. They got to be a certain level trained under the Druids, and they write these jingles like the Alice in
Well,
Wonderland.
it's not just what they're looking for is a level of musical mastery.
Okay.
In the most common places that they used to look in the old days was in the secret societies that emphasized the arts in order to develop the feminine nature of women and to the overly masculine males to calm down his testosterone energy.
Mm-hmm.
So they would use theater and ballet and song. And so when you hear about a group of these people coming out of the same secret society, it was geared to prepare them to be music writers and singers and instrument players. But then you have something that comes along and they call him a prodigy.
Yep.
And they can exploit him early on because his musical genius is magnetic to the ears of the people, the Pied motherfucking Piper.
Just like Quincy Jones became the one of the protocol guys for their society, especially about for me, because he wrote a lot like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, In
But
the
look,
House.
even before that though, Quincy didn't come to fame doing jazz R&B. He came to musical prominence doing movie scores.
Okay, go ahead. I know that.
Doing the movie scores, he was able to access a higher bracket of Hollywood integrity than anybody before him.
That's
And you got to remember, Ray Charles was taking the blues into orchestra.
Go ahead. Yep. Yep.
Right? It's the same with Barry White. They was using the orchestra principles as their foundation for developing new and compelling music.
Yeah, mixing classical
Right.
with jazz.
And we already know that Barry White flat out told you he was a self-made god.
Right. Straight up.
Right. And in order for him to reach that level of mastery, you got to put in the practice and the work.
Yeah, that dude can play any instrument. He can write a whole fucking orchestra. Like he's a maestro for real, like the real maestro. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't call him that for no reason.
Right.
You look at the Motown machine and the writers in there, Hayoka High Priest, Smokey Robinson was their prime writer.
Right.
Right. And they drew other people in, but they was all centered around the writings of Smokey Robinson. He a full-fledged Hayoka High Priest. all day long.
Right.
Right. That's why he can tell you he proud to be black, but he ain't no goddamn African because he know who they are.
Right.
Right. And people be like, oh, he just don't like himself because he don't want to be black. Nah, he understand beyond the veil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. He tell you how to read the tears of a clown.
Now, for our okay, let's just say this. Okay, so we got like people like Oprah Winfrey. You know, we know for sure she's a part of some kind of high rank, or ain't no way you get a
She's a Delta. She's a Delta from a college fraternity.
okay.
She's pledged Delta.
Okay, Delta, okay.
And then
So
she dipped by the boule.
okay, the boule, okay. I can see that. And then usually I always had a Jew they always say they got a Jewish handler, but they never mention them. It might be some dark black haired guy popping them. You know what I'm saying? They got a Jewish handler in the background. Like I always know, like they said that Oprah Winfrey, when you go chase her back, you find out it's a Jewish guy. That's her handler. All these billionaires, every billionaire, it's always some kind of. They'll never show the guy. They just say, "Oh, it's a Jewish guy that she's close and good."
Okay,
good.
then you gotta look at why